Assassin's Creed Valhalla follows the story of Eivor as they make a home for themselves in England. And yeah, you'll be trying to convince local leaders to side with your clan. And yeah, you'll also be raiding monasteries and laying siege to castles, but Valhalla has a less serious side too. And that less serious side manifests itself partly in Easter eggs. Lord of the Rings, Dark Souls, and even references to the Prodigy are hidden throughout the game. If you like sniffing out secrets like me, then you're in the right place, as I've rounded up 15 of the best Easter eggs you can find in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So, let's get started. We all know Legolas and his long blonde hair and poised elven archery and general cleanliness, but I'd like you to meet DEGOLAS.
My filth is useful. My arrows are more deadly, covered in shit.
If you haven't gathered by now, DEGOLAS is rather fond of being covered in shit. Sorry, I mean feces. It's no coincidence that this archer is named DEGOLAS, as he's pretty much the opposite of Gimli's BFF. Unsurprisingly, the objective of this mission is to cleanse him of his stench, but before you do that, you need to clear out some crates of excrement from his farmhouse. And this isn't a pleasant job, but trust me, it's worth seeing him splash into that rather stagnant-looking pond at the very end.
I'm soaked! Water! I hate water!
Hidden away in Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a Dark Souls reference that might actually get you killed if you're not careful, as it's in an area where Eivor is viewed with suspicion. Stroll along down through Ledesestra and you'll find a bonfire burning in one of the alcoves of an old Roman ruin, with a sword stuck in the middle of it and a medieval helmet scattered nearby. It's an obvious hint towards the famous bonfires in Dark Souls, but thankfully there are no matching fog doors with death hiding behind them. Thank God. Legolas has a feces-covered doppelganger in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and Gollum also has his own double too. Sitting on a throne on his own island, this guy has proclaimed himself king, but wants you to find a precious arm ring that is lost in the nearby shipwreck. Precious arm ring? Get it? Yup, the second Lord of the Rings reference in Valhalla has you getting the faux Gollum his precious back, and, surprise surprise, you find it on the body of one of his drowned brothers. Just like what Smeagol did to Deagle. Or Deagle. Anyway, give the precious back to the so-called king, and you can either ally with him or kill him. I went with killing him. Unfortunately, there's no Mount Doom for him to fall into. More's the pity. In the ruins of Dunwich, you'll find a cell that has 3 Easter eggs hidden inside it, and the first one is a note that references H.P. Lovecraft's story, The Dunwich Horror. In that tale, the narrator references spider-like creatures and the terror of Dunwich overcoming them. So, this note referencing spiders and seeing beyond into a different, hellish world has a distinct Lovecraft flavour. The first of 2 Harry Potter references in Assassin's Creed Valhalla has you visiting Yan Li, the trader in your settlement of Ravensthorpe. Look in her inventory and you'll find some notes for sale with information about where to find specific types of fish in the game. These notes are called Fantastic Fish and Where to Find Them. I'm sure I don't have to spell this out, but I'll do it anyway. This is a reference to fantastic beasts and where to find them. There's no sign of actual magical fish-like beasts lurking beneath the surface of England's waters, but considering Valhalla has giant wolves you can ride, and also hellish magic boss fights, monstrous fish might be on the cards at some point in the future. There's a distinct lack of long hair falling out of a window and having Eivor climb up it, but Rapunzel does make an appearance in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. In Venanis in Leicestershire, you'll find a tower that has a woman's voice plaintively yelling out from inside it, with a valiant warrior preventing you from entering. Challenge the warrior and beat him, and you'll become her very own protector.
Find another champion, lady!
For a while, that is. Rapunzel, being stuck in a tall tower in the fairy tale, eventually saw her prince, but in this retelling, Eivor gets bored of the whole thing and leaves Rapunzel to it.
I think it is time I take my leave.
Climb up the tower and you'll find a note revealing that this whole escapade was actually intense role-playing for a pair of lovers, who you have since split up after beating the lad up and taking his place. Nice one, Cupid. Don't mess with CUCCOS in The Legend of Zelda. You all remember that clip of a CUCCO utterly destroying some moblin who was fool enough to hit one? Well, that also happens in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, with an equally bloody outcome. Go to Dunwich Ruins, and in the very same cell I've mentioned before, you'll find a bloody stain on the floor that's surrounded by chickens. Someone followed in the rather large footsteps of that moblin and picked a fight with the wrong birds. Sorry, friend. The second and final Harry Potter Easter egg in Assassin's Creed Valhalla takes the form of Horcruxes. Someone is evidently trying to split their soul up into itty-bitty pieces, and you can see the remnants of their endeavour if you go to London and investigate this building next to the Temple of Sulis Minerva. Find the key to get in, and inside you'll find a list of all the different Horcruxes someone is hard at work tinkering with. Look to the table you found the list on, and there are the Horcruxes. Oh, and outside the door was the snake mentioned on the list before I unceremoniously killed it. Have a gander to your left and you'll also see banners hung up that correspond to the 4 Hogwarts houses: Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Slytherin, and Hufflepuff. Our old friend from Assassin's Creed Origins has an early game cameo in Valhalla courtesy of Raider, the merchant who sets up shop in Ravensthorpe. Stumble upon him when he has a flock of children listening adoringly to his stories, and you'll hear him say this.
The guardian of this temple was a proud man, kingly in nature, but not in fact, a protector of holy wisdom. And this protector had a wife, a scholar, who spent her days reading ancient tomes and deciphering the secrets of the desert.
References to the Protector and the Scholar are nods to Bayek and Aya. This myth about Bayek is really touching as the story has travelled so far, and seeing the tales of the different assassins weaving together brings joy to my cold, dead heart. Right, the very last Easter egg that's hidden in this cell in Dunwich Ruins is the cell itself. Have a look at the cell from the outside and you'll notice that it looks a lot like the 3-walled prison Tyrion was held in the EYRIE in Game of Thrones. Identical, in fact. Man, imagine being taken prisoner and then put in this cell with those craggy rocks beneath you, and being stuck with a bloodstain of someone killed by chickens. And that's not even mentioning the remains in the corner of the person struck by those spider-like creatures that hint towards the Dunwich horror. Find yourself in here and you'd be having one hell of a bad day. You can have tattoos of hell, Jormungandr, ravens and smudges all around your eyes, Furiosa style, but did you know your tattoo artist in Ravensthorpe is also working on a new tattoo? Yep, if you investigate his shop, you'll stumble upon a note which outlines his ideas for a tattoo. Specifically, a dragon, breathing fire, with the wings of a bat and the arms of a man. Muscular arms. Take note of that. This sounds exceedingly like internet favourite Trogdor the Burninator. What a majestic beast. Who wouldn't want that tattooed on them? For this Easter egg, you'll need to know about an English folktale about the green children of WOOLPIT. In the 12th century in WOOLPIT, 2 children were found with green skin who spoke a different language and only ate raw broad beans. After learning English, they claimed it to come from an underground world called St. Martin's Land, which was filled with twilight. Back to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and if you go to said stone, you'll find that your offering gets nicked. Follow some green footprints. You can see where I'm going with this, can't you? And you'll find the thieves, 2 children in green clothes, painted green, who have their own camp which they call St. Martin's Land.
Come to the land of St. Martin's.
Oh, and they eat beans. An Easter egg like this is beyond good to see, as it not only complements Valhalla's setting in ye olde England, but also raises awareness of England's rich history of folktales.
Thought we got away, sis.
You read that right. Go investigate Grantbridgeshire and you'll find a grandpa who is mighty good with his fists. Specifically, one of them. His grandkids are very invested in the idea of you getting downed by one of his punches. Or you being knocked out by one punch, you might put it. Challenge Grandpa, actually his real name is the Walloper, and you'll get into a fist fight with him. Try to knock him out, but, fair warning, if he hits you once, only once, then you're out. Although we should probably have expected that. They don't call him One Punch Man, the Walloper, for nothing. This Easter egg is one that requires more legwork from you than usual. A lot of it, in fact, as you'll be travelling all across England delivering packages with zero fast travel. By boat or by foot, it's up to you to deliver 4 items. If you want to get on Yanli's good side, that is. Take a peek behind her shop and you'll see those 4 items on a blue cloth, along with a note about where their recipients live. I delivered the first parcel by foot, which did take a while, but then realised that if you just pop the parcels on your boat, you can take the river to get to your destination, which is a lot snappier and has a whole lot less of wolves trying to kill you on your journey. Delivery drivers nowadays have to deal with dogs, but dealing with wolves is a bit too old school for me. The late Keith Flint from The Prodigy makes an appearance in Assassin's Creed Valhalla in this final Easter egg. In these ruins, you'll find a group of musicians and dancers having a great old time, but there's a bishop who isn't too into the revelry.
Music is the devil's wind breaking.
Talk to Keith with a very distinctive hairstyle and you can help him, as he puts it, fight the bishop, demolish the bishop, and make Keith happy. This quest pays tribute to The Prodigy thanks to that killer pun, and you can tell the developers have a very real affection for Keith Flint himself. Rest in peace, Keith.
Smack my bishop! Smack my bishop!
And that's 15 Assassin's Creed Valhalla Easter eggs. If you enjoyed the video, thanks very much, and don't forget to like and subscribe, because we have new videos out every single day, so there's always something to watch. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's time for me to listen to a ton of The Prodigy. See you next time.